So this was the last one in these energy-based portraits videos. I've just about finished this one. I've just got to tidy a few things. I say clean that up there. So the same for this one, really. I think the initial energy, keeping that initial energy in the in the marks and the tones, is for me, it's a critical thing. If I lose that, if it starts to become, this one's got to be refined, shall we say. Certainly that's one of the annoyances. Maybe there's a little bit of a tweak on the side of the cheek there as well. But I don't want to lose any of the the spontaneity, the energy that went in to start with. Same with this one, really. The only things that I'm noticing on this is the size of things, so generally with hair, I always kind of get it somewhere I like, and then gradually refine it so it looks like it belongs on the head. But little things like the tonal side of things will get gradually refined, and hopefully not lose the energy that's in there. Right, so I'm going to do another one now, and I think I might have the wrong paper on it, so I'm trying to stick to this paper because this is it's this stuff. Let me show you what it is. It's this cheap stuff, the very cheap stuff. I can't get the other that I've been using. I won't use Winsor Newton or Dale Rowney or whatever. It's just expensive rubbish. It's not good enough for what I want. It's the other thing about paper is that when I'm talking about it grabs the charcoal, it can be too coarse, or it can be too, and there's plenty of variants of paper that these manufacturers make, so you could probably find one, but you'd probably pay 3 times what I pay for this, and is it worth it? Is the and so I suppose when looking at people who do charcoal drawings professionally, they spend an awful lot of money on paper. In fact, they get it in rolls, and the people who do the big stuff, and they've got demands on. I'm doing this one, by the way. So they've got demands on the paper. That it's got to it's got to last and take some hammer, they do, because they put it through the paces. And there's some people that just cover the whole thing with charcoal before they start carving into it. And, just the paper really has to be quite resilient to get past that. You can understand why they'd spend money on it, And I think they sell there. I don't know if they sell this stuff. I mean, I can't imagine some of these, you see these massive, like, heads of females and every hair is in place and all that. Who wants a picture like that? Would buy that? I just think it's for show that that they can do it. I can't imagine anybody buying an image like that, a picture of somebody else's head on your wall, unless it's the the sort of contemporary kind of poster sort of people that buy those things. I have no idea. I say I've not seen people. They have exhibitions. I've seen them have exhibitions, but whether or not they must sell. I can't. Or they've got another source of income. They can't, because they are professionals. So they can only mean that, say, they work as a barista. There's no, or something like that. There's got to be some way they earn money. But yeah, they do amazing big charcoal portraits, and you just wonder how they afford to do it. I mean, the paper must cost a fortune. I think the thing with heads like this, I've done quite a few of heads like this, and sort of Madonna type of pose. If it was a typical kind of female looking down kind of pose, and they all seem to be, when I do them, they always seem to be. Sometimes I get the vibe right, but other times it's a little bit too rough, I think, for it needs to be quite delicate. This energy-filled response stuff, it tends not to be delicate enough. I've done, you've probably seen on some of the, I think it was a header for a while of an image not unlike this. And I remember thinking at the time, I mean, I spent a long time on it, probably a couple of days on it or something like that, just gently working it and teasing it. But yeah, it's kind of one of the reasons why I don't do the delicate female kind of pose like this. It's because of that. I don't think it suits the way I draw. Excuse me. This is pretty much like, you know, in the same state the others are, or were when I stopped. I think the kind of energy levels thing that I need to muster at this stage quite quite strong. I'm gonna really, because it is purely about response, and I'm not really trying to draw, if that makes sense. I'm not going to try and draw the thing. I can do that when things are in the right place. And what happens with this, I've said before, the byproduct of this rapid response thing is you get a lot of things that are happening that I couldn't do on purpose, and that's the bit that I try to hang on to, you know, because that's where the energy is. I said before, you know, the life of a portrait enters in the marks, the first marks you make. And so consequently, I really don't want to lose those marks, because those are the ones that are full of life. So, as I said, the stage it's at now is the stage that the others were at, where it's suddenly sort of falling into place. You can see things start to work. I can then now slow down and start to refine things, but at the same time, I don't want to lose the energy that went into it to start with. So it's not necessarily any easier once you get to this stage, but it's a lot more. It's a lot simpler, because you're just kind of fixing things you can see, as opposed to when it's a blank sheet, you're not fixing anything because you can't see anything. But the you know, sort of the balance of things, the width of that in relation to that, all that sort of stuff, it's there for me to now just tweak and gradually hone, I suppose. The other thing as well is this piece of charcoal is very blunt and thick and difficult to work with, to be precise with it. But I'd like to hang on to it. It's a bit like using a big brush. I like to hang on to using a big brush until the very last minute, and then get a little brush out and start doing the details. If I start with a little brush too soon, I've lost it. And the same with the charcoal. If I start with something now that's a more precise, it's sharpened and it's got a point on it and all the rest of it, then if I'm not careful, I'll end up drawing too much, and it will be, and I'll lose the spontaneity of it. So that's the dilemma, really. I think these little black spots that keep it appearing, I think it's grease on my hands. I can't think of any other reason why it's doing it. But yeah, so that's it. Another one of an energetic start. I'll work this one up, and I'll get back on and do another one, and you'll see this one like the others a little bit more further down the road. Not that it's going to go that much further. I just need to fix the balance of tones. You can see this here. There's an imbalance between that, right, and that. This doesn't this is not a highlight on a cheek, you see. And as soon as I do that, you can see it starts to come back into shape. Good, there's the highlight, and there is a highlight. There's a highlight on the chin, but there is no highlight here. And as I said, it's just little things like that that I'll fix and get rid of the unnecessary highlights and stuff, which are just a consequence of doing it. You know, you work this fast, it doesn't. A lot of the you end up with a lot of things that shouldn't be there. Not sure what's happening with this earring thing. There's an earring there, so I'm going to try. It's quite a dark thing that hangs there. Yeah, the problem with the dark, over dark thing there. Get rid of this lip there. Right, there's I'll stop it there, and then I'll finish it off and then be back on later with another one, and you'll see this further down the road. As with all of them, I need to finish the previous one as well. I think it's a bit more in the tonality thing. Just a little bit more. Maybe the eyes a little bit bigger, or the area around it needs to be a little bit bigger and darker. But we'll finish that one. The first one's only finished. And I'll sort this out now. This is probably I've got this feeling that this is gonna be more background on that as well, because it's got kind of a glow on it. You can see it's got quite a glow on there. That's what I mean. So I'm gonna end up with that, I think. Yeah, the lips are a bit bigger as well, I think. The nose a bit smaller, but yeah, there you go. That's the next one.